It is Monday, February 7th in the NBA, and I'm back with my 3 best picks of the day. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Let's do a quick recap from yesterday, and I got a special guest to introduce you to. It's the Broom, because boom, you see a 3-0 day. Now 4 straight profitable days, 12-4 over that time span. And on the month overall, 17-8. We've only had one bad day, and that was a 3-3 day losing juice. Tobias Harris clutches up, Brandon Ingram clutches up in the third, and then Luka Doncic, man, oh man, it was a sweaty one. I was prepared to wear this ref jersey, but I didn't have to because Luka Doncic clutches up with over 9.5 assists. So hopefully we've been helping you guys out. If you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're closing toward 23,000 subscribers, so we appreciate you guys. Now, I don't ask for tips. I don't need your guys' tips, but if I am going to ask you for something, you're feeling generous, here's a couple things. Number 1, just share the videos with your friend. Super simple, helps grow the community, and we can't do it without you guys. Now, number 2, if you want to watch the ads in the videos, I'd appreciate that too, but go for it. You don't have to skip them. You can skip them, whatever you want. Just watch them. Number 3, using our sportsbook sign-up links down below. That's really helpful for us. It helps us with timers, helps us out, and it does help me out. So it does help if you ever sign up for a new sportsbook using those links down below. And number 4, if you want to become a CLS All-Star, click the join button on the channel. It costs $2.99 a month. They get a couple cool added, cool emojis that we've created. Got a couple in the chamber that we're ready to release. And those people starting tomorrow are going to start getting the plays a little bit early, about an hour in advance. I'm going to post them here on the community page for only the All-Stars to see. And it's just a couple cool perks if you want to see them. I'll see the plays a little early. I know lines normally move some days, so you get them earlier than anyone else. So shout out to our newest All-Stars, Jake, Black Sheep, Lane, Mississippi Mud, James, Elijah. You guys know who you are. We appreciate you guys for coming to see us All-Stars. We can't do it without you guys. You guys are the real MVPs. So if you want to become an All-Star, I'll put the link in the description. You can click that button or just click the join button on the channel. Like I said, only $2.99 a month. Just kind of shows your appreciation to us. Plus, we'll give you some extra perks like the plays come in a little bit early to you guys and later on, starting tomorrow. So you'll definitely be able to see that. Now let's move on in today's best bet segment. 39-17 since December 10th, near 70% win rate. In today's best bet of the day, we only have 5 games on. Don't you dare force many plays. We're going with the man, the point guard. He doesn't need any introduction. Chris Paul, I'm taking his over, 11.5 assists, -112 on FanDuel. Now, as I record this, really the only books with lines are FanDuel and PointsBet for this game. So could this be the worst line we see? Yeah, it could. They could release Chris Paul at 10.5 on other books for all I know. Or it could be the best line. But either way, I like this line at 11.5, -112. Now, we've seen CP3's assist line be like 12.5 the past couple games, and I wouldn't blame him if it moved up to that. Now, over his last, you look at the last game when okay, well, let's take a step back. CP3 and the Phoenix Suns traveled to Chicago to take on the Bulls. Bulls coming off an 11-point loss yesterday to the Sixers. Shout out to Tobias Harris. And the Suns coming off a big win against the Wizards. Now, over CP3's last 5 games, he's had 9, 12, 14, 19, and 14 assists, hitting the over in 4 of those 5 games. The one miss was because of the Wizards, who didn't show up, as we all know. CP3 did not play in the 4th quarter, didn't play a lot in the 3rd quarter either. Now, CP3 still managed 9 assists on 19 potential assists in that game, so not too bad. And over the last 5 games, he's been pretty solid, averaging 12 or 13.6 assists per game on 22.6 assist chances. While the Suns are finally healthy, CP3 really hasn't been looking to score as much lately. Over the Bulls' last 30 games, they've allowed the most assists per game overall in the NBA, and over that same time span, they've allowed the 2nd most assists per game overall to point guards at over 10 a game. Now, we'll look at since January 1st, we've seen these guys that average a lot of assists. They get a lot of assists versus the Bulls. We've seen DeJounte Murray, 12 assists. Darius Garland, 12 assists. James Harden, 16 assists. Luka Doncic, 14 assists. Bradley Beal, 17 assists. Like I said, the list goes on, and CP3 is going to be right in there. Now, all these guys that I just named had about 17 to 22 potential assists, which is a ton of assist chances. CP3 has been averaging over that over his last 5 games, really over his last 10 to 15 games. He's been averaging 22.6 assist chances over the last 5. The over-under set to 228.5. Really think CP3 should be able to get it done. The Bulls are capable of keeping this game close. 6.5 point spread. I think they can keep this game close. Hopefully Zach LaVine is back, but still, we look at CP3 in his 2 games versus the Chicago as a member of the Phoenix Suns. 14 and 15 assists. I rest my case. That's why CP3 over 11.5 assists is my best bet of the day. Moving on to the next pick. Man, yesterday I gave Tobias Harris a chance. So it's only right that I give this guy a chance. Julius Randle over 32.5 PRAs, -115 on DraftKings. Look, I trust him about as much as I do Tobias Harris. But here we are. Tobias Harris treated us nicely, and we're going to Julius Randle. Now, over the last 2 games, Randle's gotten back to what we've been used to seeing in the past, where he's been aggressive shooting the basketball, piling up the statistics. Last game versus the Lakers, obviously a revenge game. 32 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists for 55 PRAs. The game before that was against Memphis, a much harder defensive matchup against Jaren Jackson Jr. Still 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists for 39 PRAs. But what I like most, or honestly, but hate the most as a Knicks fan, are his shot attempts. It's because he's been attempting 18 and 22 shots the last 2 games, been very active. And today the Knicks, they're taking on the Jazz, a team that has been really slumping. Now they did get a win against the Nets, not really saying much to break their losing streak, but they got Donovan Mitchell back. That helped them. But they're still down Rudy Gobert, the anchor of that defense. Rudy Gay and Jordan Clarkson on both game-time decisions. Now, over the last 15 games, Jazz surrendered the 5th most points per game to the opposing power forward position. It's exactly what Julius Randle plays, and their defense as a whole has not been good over this time span. Like I said, Rudy Gobert, really the anchor to this defense. Hassan Whiteside, not it. Now, the Knicks are the ultimate pace down spot. The over-under set at 214.5, which honestly pretty high for a Knicks game, but still, I like what Randle's been doing, and I think he can keep it going. I don't really know what the Jazz did, Julius Randle. Maybe it was selecting Dante Exum with the 5th overall pick, and not Julius Randle ended up going 7th. Maybe that's what they did to him. Either way, he's had great games versus the Utah Jazz. In his last 5 games versus the Jazz, he's had the following PRA lines: 32, 53, 43, 32, and 43. His only 2 misses coming via the hook. One game he shot 6 for 16, which is perfectly capable of today. The other game he had just 6 rebounds and 3 assists, which would be very low for his season-long averages. Look, I can live with, and all those games came against Rudy Gobert. I can live with this against Hassan Whiteside and the backups that he will face today. Julius Randle been playing a ton of minutes, and hopefully we don't get screwed by Tom Thibodeau benching the starters. Hopefully, Julius Randle and the starters can lead this team by example, play their normal 35, 40 minutes. And I think Julius Randle's got a good chance of hitting this. Look, the last time we took a Julius Randle prop, he hit it in the first quarter. Can he do it again tonight? If he does get 33 PRAs in Q1, I will buy a Randle jersey. You got my word. And so we'll move on, and I like Julius Randle over 32.5 PRAs. Now, moving on to my final play. Trust me, I really like Mikal Bridges today. Pains me not to do it, but I'm not taking 2 plays in the Suns game because the Bulls could get blown out. Boom, that's a quick 0-2. So instead, we'll go to the Hornets versus Bulls game, and I'm going with the man, LaMelo Ball, over 31.5 PRAs. If I had to take an individual line, I'd take his points line. Now, minus 125 on DraftKings, playable at 32.5, because I know a couple books were at that line. Now, LaMelo, obviously snubbed from the All-Star game. He did not make it, and while some players like Jared Allen have come out and just dominated, which Jared Allen dominated this Hornets roster, he hasn't really had a great game since then, and it's not really his fault because he's played the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2 ultimate pace down spots, 2 ultimate great defenses. Well, today he gets the Raptors, and they've been a little bit suspect on the road this season. Over LaMelo's last 11 games, he's gone over this line 6 under 5 times. So, right, but kind of break even, which isn't, you'd rather that than a guy that's going under all 11. Now, look, he's not the best, not the worst, but still, he usually throws up 2 good games and 2 bad games. 2 good, 2 bad. Well, he got the 2 bad games out of the way. Here comes 2 good games, and I think LaMelo Ball plays pretty well today and hits this over. Now, you look at the last game, he played just 22 minutes versus the Miami Heat. Probably was a little bit angry after that one, not putting up a good showing. So I think he comes out and plays pretty well today. Now, the team did play a couple weeks back. LaMelo, 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists for 35 PRAs. Cashing this over. We obviously know LaMelo is capable of a triple-double any moment he steps on the court. And look, the last year when he played the Raptors, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists for 38 PRAs. So cash it in the last 2 versus the Toronto Raptors. He's only played 32 and 31 minutes in those games. We've seen him recently approach 38-plus minutes in 3 of his last 6 games, and hopefully that's what he gets today. Now, the Raptors aren't necessarily the best matchup for point guards versus them, but I think LaMelo is a little bit different than the majority of point guards they've been facing. Now, if you look at back in January when these 2 teams played, LaMelo drove the basketball 22 times. That's been a common theme over his last 11 games when he's been averaging 17.4 drives per game, up from 13 previous to that. So it's been more aggressive, and if you look at over the last 10 games, players that have driven the ball against the Raptors over 13 times, they've done really well. You look at LaMelo, 22 drives, he had 35 PRAs. You look at Luka Doncic, 21 drives, 62 PRAs. Bradley Beal, 20 drives, 38 PRAs. Jimmy Butler in 2 games, he averaged 18.5 drives, 60 and 36 PRAs in those games. DeMar DeRozan, 17 drives, 41 and 43 PRAs in those 2 games. And finally, Trae Young in their most recent game, 17 drives, what LaMelo's been averaging, 41 PRAs. I really think he should be able to get it done. LaMelo Ball, one of the best guys at filling up the stat sheet, should be able to do it today. This Raptors team does not have a lot of rim protection. Sure, they got Pascal Siakam. They can bring Chris Boucher off the bench, but still, not elite level rim protection in my opinion. So I think LaMelo can get it done. This is a high over under 225.5. And just like I said, 2 duds from LaMelo. I think he comes out and plays pretty well today, especially after being benched for the majority of their last game. Just 22 22 minutes. Over 31.5 PRAs, not too shabby. 32.5, perfectly playable as well. That'll do it. Those are all my plays for today. Like I said, I don't want to add a lot of plays, 5 games, and a lot of these teams I really don't. We got a Julius Randle play, so that goes to show you we don't love the slate today, but I think we can get it done. We're trying to extend to go to 5 straight winning days. Hopefully extend on this 12-5